Hey, good morning and welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 135. It's Sunday, December 13th, and it is One Sore Sunday. So, as I talked about yesterday, we got some snow and it ended up snowing it snowed overnight. It snowed when I recorded yesterday morning. I think it began to dissipate around 10, 11 a.m. So I waited until it quit around 11 to go out and fire up the snowblower. Thankfully, it worked. In fact, on the first try, it started up quicker. I don't know motors. I don't know engines. Motors and engines, probably the same thing. I don't know uh, how they work, which is weird because my dad restored classic cars and was a total gearhead, and I had nothing to do with it. So I don't know why snowblowers tend to not start. So I was able to get it started really quick, but I took a break. It was a really heavy snow. That's why I'm so sore today. And it took longer to get it started a second time after it had been running, after a short break, than what it did after it's been sitting, idle for how many months? 8 months, 6 months, whatever. So I don't understand why snowblowers are so difficult to get started, but powered through. Ironically, a friend of mine who lives in the neighborhood bought a 2-stage snowblower in the off season for this winter, and I said, his home is very similar as far as the length of the sidewalk in front, length of the driveway, and we only get a few big snowfalls to require a snowblower. So maybe 5 or 6 that I 5 or 6 times a winter I use the snowblower. So I have a single stage, and it usually does the trick. However, yesterday's snow, and I was giving him some crap for buying a 2-stage, and we have such a small driveway and sidewalk. It's not really necessary. It would have been really, really nice to have yesterday because the snow was super heavy, very wet snow, and we received about 8 inches. It was it was the most work I've had to snow blow, at least since I moved into this house, 4 years ago. So in 4 winters, it was definitely the hardest to get rid of. So I was able to get through, did most of my neighbor's sidewalk in front of his house, the driveway, even a path for the mailman in front of the mailboxes. So I'm very sore. In fact, it was so high that it was up over my snowblower, so I had to take a shovel to take the top, the top layer, a couple inches off, so I could muster through with my snowblower. So I am sore. It's funny. Zach tweeted me this morning, not too long, about 15 minutes ago, asking if I was sore and hungover. And yes, I'm a little bit of both. And I was actually less sore. I was still laying in bed when I read that tweet, that message. And as soon as I got out of bed, you take that first couple steps, and I'm super sore neck, shoulder, the back is sore. I'm just like really stiff. So I think I'm gonna, even though I'm a little tired, had a few beers last night, I'm a little sore and tired. I think I'm gonna have to power through and hit the treadmill for a little bit this morning, just to loosen my body up, because I'm super stiff and sore from all that snowfall. Zach is with me. What's happening? Good morning. So that took up a good chunk, probably an hour to 90 minutes of pushing snow around. I didn't hit Target yesterday. I was going to stop at Target just to check it out to see, if there was anything left card wise. But then I got to thinking, I have so much going on. The NBA season is preseason stuff is going on, so I'm like looking at box scores again, kind of like what I did in 95 with my NBA Live 95, looking at box scores, checking things out. So I'm excited about the NBA season starting up soon. Preseason games are getting me primed for that. I've got some auctions ending tonight for some of those premium stocks. So I think I might even dig in. My plan was to open the second set on opening night. I might actually open a second set this week ahead of opening night, but I again, I have so much other stuff going on that I think I'll just wait, open the second set opening night. But I did hold back the rookies to auction off. And I think I may list those tonight, 7-day auction for the lower tier rookies. I've already some Ja and Zion. I've got Tyler Herro. I've got ending tonight. There were just a couple other rookies that I auctioned off or sold outright. But there's a pretty big stack of rookies that I think I'll auction off tonight. So what else do I have going on? That's about it. I did not do much hobby related outside of shipping yesterday. Didn't buy anything. That's good. I'm gonna try to hold off on buying anything the rest of the year. I did buy a case of top loaders. Those are coming Wednesday, and I'm actually down to like a small pile. I do have some other top loaders around here, so I should be able to get through to Wednesday. I think I still have a couple of packs just kind of laying around, so I should be good until Wednesday. So that's about it. Just wanted to share my soreness, and that is all I had for today. I did get a package from Zach. I think he's in Tennessee. I've got to open that up. So that should push me. My Cubs count, I have to look, is getting close to 525,000. So I am at 524,128. So I think the package that I have is about 200. So inching closer to 525,000, and it's the 13th. I should get to 525, no problem, by the end of the year. So as we get closer to the new year, I'm going to put those goals together, hobby goals for 2021. I think I'm going to set I've been averaging like 130,000 Cubs cards per year. So I think I'm gonna reach out and extend that goal to 700,000 for the end of next year, because I do have a couple large in-person bulk trades that were pushed back this year because of COVID. And we're talking, I think one of the trades is like a 12,000 count trade with a dealer from St. Louis. My buddy Steve out in Ohio with Greeny Sports Cards. He's got a bunch of Cubs that, could be pushing close to 50,000 possibly. So, with those two trades, that'll really, bump my number up. So, I think I'm going to push for 700,000, extend that goal, because typically it has been, and I don't know what my current, it's not updated here. So my count for 2020, let's see, at 517,000. So add 7,000 to that total. So I'm at almost 130,000 for 2020. So 130,000, say I hit 525, and that's the number. 625, 655 would be the average. So yeah, 700,000's really pushing it. So especially with my first quarter, I'm still going to push my eBay sales for the first 3 months. I'm going to push the eBay sales until life gets back to normal. As far as I can, travel again, I can go to restaurants again, and all that stuff. And hopefully by the second quarter of next year, we'll get back to that. We'll start, making our way back to that. We probably won't get back to a normal until 2022. But hopefully we start seeing, back to somewhat of a normal by the middle of next year. So push those eBay sales for the first 3 months, and then if I can get those, get to some card shows, got a nice little nest egg for card show money. So push for 700,000 next year. Zach says, I'm picking up some junk wax packs on Wednesday. Should have more Cubs coming before end of month. Crazy, but that Will Clark rookie is calling my name. Something about the thrill. Will the thrill. And I think, did I put that on auction? I think I was laying in bed the other night, and I was looking at some of my buy it now listings that were like under $3, that were ending soon, and I just ended up throwing a dozen cards, taking them from buy it now to 99-cent auctions. So yeah, I do have, if you want to start a Will Clark collection, I did trade, there's I think it's Bayside Breakers. He is a big Will Clark collector. So I've traded off a lot of Will Clarks to him. But I think I still have, a few hundred. And speaking of, you sent me that Frank Thomas tweet that Frank liked. I'll have to go through. I have a couple star boxes that I need to pick through. So I'll have to dig out some more Frank Thomas cards. My best trade partner growing up, who actually reminds me of you, was a big Will and Emmett Smith collector. So I have a few of either. That's awesome. Looking back, that was, I think back to my friends that collected and growing up. And I had a friend, my friend Seth, grew up. And I think now, like sitcoms and movies. So my friend Seth growing up, it was, almost like, you watch like movies like, I don't know if Stand By Me doesn't fit this, but, some of those 80s and 90s movies. So Seth lived right behind me, but between our houses was this big field, and it was an empty field. And I think early on it was like a cornfield, and it's not really, we lived on the edge of town. So like maybe 10 houses, not even that, 6 or 7, 8 houses. And then it was the country at the edge of our town. So at one time this was the edge of town, and it was a cornfield, but houses built up around it. So it was kind of, weird, this cornfield kind of, surrounded by, the townhouses, towns houses, not townhouses. So Seth lived beyond the field, and it was just it was 1 block in length. The field was 1 block in length north and south, and then probably 2 blocks in length east and west. So when we were younger, they planted walnut trees. And it's crazy because my mom still lives in the house I grew up in. The walnut trees are like huge now, but when we were growing up, they were actually, when Seth and I would run back and forth through this field to play basketball. And we would play we were basketball junkies. We would have like one-on-one tournaments, like best of 7 tournaments, home and home. So we would play the first 2 games one-on-one in his driveway, and then we would run over to my house through the field, and we play the next 3 games, best of 7 series in my driveway. And then, if necessary, game 6 and 7, we're back on his home court across the field. So it's fun to reflect back on, our childhood trade partners. And so, wrapping this into the hobby, he was a hockey collector, and hockey in small town rural Illinois was like, he was the only hockey person I knew until I was in my 20s. Nobody watched hockey, especially collected hockey cards. So he was like a hockey card collector. He had an uncle who was maybe 15 years older than us. So his uncle grew up like in the 70s, and his uncle gave him his collection of football cards. And we're talking like they were all 77, 78, 79. And Seth had no interest in the football cards. And so early on, like once he got that, he would trade a few here and there. I had some hockey. I don't even know where I attained hockey cards. But I would trade, whatever hockey cards I had for, a few of his 70s football cards. And then we did a big deal, and I can't even remember what I traded him. But he traded me like all of his 70s football cards. From 77 through 79. So that was a lot of fun. I probably traded him all my Jordans because he was a huge Jordan fan. He had another uncle who was a high school coach in the Chicago area who coached at Michael Jordan's basketball camp. So Seth got to go like on one day. I don't think he ever participated actually in Michael Jordan's camp, but he would go on like autograph day when all the campers would get Michael Jordan's autograph. And so he like his prized possession was a signed Michael Jordan basketball that he got from meeting him at Michael Jordan's basketball camp. I think it was in Lisle, Illinois. So that was Seth was big into the hobby. One of my childhood trading partners. My friend Luke, I think I mentioned him yesterday. He was the one that I would always go to card shops with, and he was a big Cardinals fan. I was a big Cubs fan. So we had just like the trade was just anytime I got a Cardinals card, it went to Luke. Anytime Luke got a Cubs card, it came to me. So that was, kind of how our deal set up. Zach says he always made a big deal about both players being number 22. Yeah, that's awesome. Fun to reflect back on the childhoods of the 80s and 90s. So that was fun stuff. Thanks, Zach, for chatting along, and that's gonna do it for today. I am going to do some shipping and maybe take some ibuprofen. And maybe loosen up my body with a treadmill run this morning. And the Bears are on at noon. I did not wear my Bears hoodie because I actually wore the Bears hoodie like 2 nights in a row or 2 mornings in a row on the treadmill. So it's like all sweaty. So I haven't washed it yet. So I don't have the Bears hoodie today. So I'm going with the classic WWF hoodie. So website is 1millioncubs.com. eBay link is at the top of that page. 99centcards.com will also get you there. Twitter is at 1millioncubs. Have a great Sunday.